What's up everybody, it's Carl, aka Carl Trump Tech, and today I'm going to teach you how to roll your feet and how to do an 8 to 5 step size. Cue the music. All right, if you guys are finding me for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the red button down below that says subscribe. That way you're notified anytime I put out a new video in regards to the marching arts, marching bands, drum lines, indoor percussion, drum corps, all that good stuff. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single upload. Now also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way, for sure, you'll be notified anytime I put out a new video. So subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell, and let's get to the video. So before we start, I'd like to give a special shout out to my friend Roger from the Netherlands, who hit me up in my DMs and asked me to create a video for his students that he's teaching in the Netherlands. They're learning how to do, how to roll their feet, and they're learning about step size. So basically, the basics of marching in general, right? So for marching percussion, marching bands, things like that, right? And this group is called ViJos from the Netherlands. So shout out to you guys. Hopefully you get a lot of value and information out of this video, and give you some perspective on just how we march here in the United States, and basically anybody who does marching arts, marching bands across the world, and kind of takes their example from what we do over here. Hopefully this gives you some insight into how we do it and how you can incorporate it into your practice. Okay, so let me just give some disclaimers, right? So first of all, I'm an old guy. I've been teaching for a long time. Marching techniques have changed over the last few years. There are some things where they're teaching these kids and it's like, okay, that is not how I was taught, and it's not how I teach, but cool, things change. I have many videos talking about how the activity changes, and a lot of times it's for the better, right? So I'm going to teach you the way I was taught, and I believe it's still relevant for a lot of groups out there, and it's definitely relevant for a lot of groups overseas who are learning this for the first time. This could be a good basic foundation for you in terms of how to do marching technique, and if you want to do other things that just like an evolved version of what I do, there's definitely some resources on that, and maybe I might even bring somebody on who is more knowledgeable on the more modern techniques, but how to roll your feet, 8 to 5. For the most part, these are skills that you should know anyway, I think, because just there's some good, there's good reasoning for it, and I'll explain that in the video. Okay, so first of all, let's just give an explanation, right? So rolling your feet. Okay, so I'll do a demonstration on that and how to roll your feet, and what 8 to 5 step size means. Okay, so to start. I want to start with the 8 to 5. Okay, so what does 8 to 5 mean? Okay, so it means, right, so if you divide, so take a look at a football field. Okay, so for those overseas, right, football, American football, no, not soccer. We call it soccer over here, but maybe where you're from it's called football. Okay, but here, American football is it's like a oval ball, and there's a lot of throwing and passing involved. It's not like the football with the feet soccer that okay, so football here, American football, let's just make that clear. Okay, American football is a very big sport here in the United States. It's probably the biggest sport in the country. It's the most popular. Everybody watches the Super Bowl, things like that. Okay, so every high school has a football field. Okay, and the football field is divided into yard lines. Okay, so you have the 50-yard line, which is basically you cut the field in half, and that's the 50 where the line is, where it's cut in half. That's the 50-yard line, and it goes out. It spreads out. Okay, so let's look at it from if you're looking at the football field from an aerial view. Okay, maybe I can do a graphic. Boom. Right, that shows the football field. All right, so if you're looking at the football field from above, okay, to the left side of the 50, right, the yard lines are going to go 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, so on and so forth. And the other side, it's the same thing, 45, 40, 35, 30, so on and so forth. Okay, you don't need to know the rules of football, American football. Just know that that's how the field is divided. Okay, so if and because like I said, football fields are very common in the United States, okay, and it's in every high school, all right? This, like we, in high school we join marching band, and then we do halftime shows where, during the halftime of the game, the marching band is going to go out there on the field and they're going to perform a show, right? And then we're going to learn drill based on the football field. So we learn coordinates, okay, or we call dots, right? So we give each other dots in terms of like, okay, from measure 1 to measure 2, you're going to go from this part of the field to that part of the field. And there's a lot of designations, like it's on side 1 of the field, and there's a bunch of hash markings too that go from vertically. Anyways, there's coordinates that we give each other, kind of tell us, okay, we got to be here in the field on this part of the music, and then once we get to another part of the music, we're in another part of the field, so we have to move in that direction, okay? But nevertheless, okay, the most important thing right now that we're talking about is the 8-to-5 step, okay? So as you can see, okay, hopefully, with the field, it's divided basically into 5-yard lines, right? So it's like 50 to 45, that's 5, right? 45 to 40, that's 5. So every line on the football field is 5 yards, okay? So 8 to 5 basically means you should be able to step 8 steps, the standardized step that we have is 8 to 5, okay? So what that means is you should be able to get from 1 yard line to the next in 8 steps. That is the standardized step size, okay? So if you have 8 steps, you can only do 8 steps, and you gotta go from 1 yard line to the next, okay? You gotta make it in 8 steps. Now, if you come up short, right? Let's say you march, okay, and then you take 8 steps. That's all the steps you can take. 8 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you make it short, right? And you don't hit the next yard line. What does that mean? You need to take bigger step sizes. Now, conversely, what happens, right? You take 8 steps and you actually pass the next yard line. What does that mean? Your steps are too big, so you need to make your steps smaller, right? So what you need to do is you need to make your step size even, right, in order to get from 1 yard line to the next, right, exactly in 8 steps. Does that make sense? It's very similar to like, okay, from one count to the next, you have 4/16 notes, right? You can't go, here's the beat, right? Beep, beep. You can't go digga digga. You can't go da 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 da, right? You're gonna either come in early, right, on the next beat, or late, past the beat. You need to evenly spread out those notes, those 4/16 notes, in order to get to the next beat, right? That's how musically we define things in terms of like good spacing, good rhythmical accuracy, right? So for step sizes, 8 to 5 is basically that, okay? And then it takes some practice, but once you learn that, in terms of like, having the right step size, right? Then you should hopefully naturally default to having a normalized 8 to 5 step. Now, let's actually demonstrate that, okay? So I got some grass over here. We're gonna bring the camera back, and then we're gonna measure out 5 yards, okay? So 5 yards is basically 15 feet. Got my handy dandy tape measure here, and we're gonna basically measure out basically 1 yard line to another yard line as if we were on a football field. So let's do that right now. Okay, so basically what we've done here is, here's 1 yard line marker, okay, this water bottle, okay? And then this other water bottle over here, right, is the other yard line. So that's my 2 yard lines, okay? So hopefully you can see the water bottle, okay, over here and over here, okay? So my goal is to step from this water bottle to this water bottle in 8 steps. Let's do it. All right, so like I said, my goal is to get from this yard line to that yard line in 8 steps. Let's see if I can do it on the first try. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. A little short, okay, because I want the middle of my feet to be here. So what do I do, okay? What I would do is I would just take slightly bigger steps. Okay, here we go. Let's try if you can hit it this time. This is my second try. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Cool, so I did it. That's 8 to 5 step. Okay, so basically I can kind of trust that when I step, I'm confident that I have a good 8 to 5 step size without having to look at the yard lines. You just kind of get used to it the more you do it. So that's one way to practice it. It's just basically, measure out 15 feet. You can do this at your house, right? Measure out 15 feet, okay, and then just basically try to hit one marker to another in 8 steps. If you make it if you are short and you don't hit it, you gotta take bigger steps. If you overpass it, then you gotta take smaller steps. Let's show you how what happens if it's too big, right? 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Okay, so that's no good either. Okay, we want to take smaller step sizes in order to actually hit the yard line. Okay, so then you'll get a feel for what's too big, what's too small, the more you do it. Kids in high school who are trained to do this for the first time, they get really good at this, over time. So that's the goal, is to have good, even 8 to 5 step sizes. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna go over is rolling your feet, okay? First, let's talk about why you wanna roll your feet. You wanna roll your feet for stability, okay? So the purpose of, so basically rolling your feet is when you step, you hit the ground with your ankle first, and then you roll to your toes. That's basically what that means. You roll your feet from ankle to your toes. The purposes of this is to create stability, okay? I mean, even I equate it to let's say I'm carrying some food around. If I might do a rolling step because it makes the food stable and I won't be spilling stuff all over the place, okay? So you see how that can be important in marching band, right? If you're playing a horn, right, you don't want to be like stepping normally, right? You can already see, right, what's happening to my body, right? It's not stable, it's shaking, okay? So what's that gonna do to the sound? Right? You don't want that. So even just me going, da, you hear it, right? You hear my steps. But if I roll my feet, da, I can kind of decrease the impact on the ground, and it makes for a smoother sound. Now, how does that translate to percussion, right? Well, all right, well, I'm drumming. What's happening, okay? The drum is moving like this, right? And I'm basically trying to hit a moving target, right? But if I do a rolling step, then that level surface is more level, more even, and I don't have to worry about, oh, it's a little lower this time, oh, it's a little higher this time. Can you imagine the chaos that does when you're drumming, okay? Let's demonstrate that real quick. Let's put some water in a bowl and see if we can stabilize, our steps. Now, I only have one shot at this because I only have enough water to fill the bowl up all close to the edge of it, okay? Edge of the bowl, right, before it overflows. I only have one shot at this. So the first time, we're gonna try this with the rolling step, and let's see how much water we lose. I'm already scared to lose water. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. We're gonna roll our feet. Roll our feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I lost a little bit of water, okay? Now, I'm just gonna walk normally, okay? I'm gonna walk normally. Oh my! Yeah, so if I walk normally, it's a disaster, right? Now you see why you need to do rolling step, okay? So any technique that you learn, basically that's the goal, is to just kind of have a stabilized step, so that you are moving stably, so that you don't hear the feet when you are playing an instrument, right? Whether it's a wind instrument or a percussion instrument, right? Where you have to deal with a moving target. Okay, so that's the goal of the rolling step. Whatever step, style you do in the marching arts, that's the goal still, no matter what. Okay, so if it's different than what I'm teaching right now, just know that the goal is still the same. Okay, now let me actually demonstrate how to do the rolling step. So as I mentioned previously, right? Basically, your heel hits the ground first, okay, and then you roll to your toes. And then the other step is gonna do the same thing. hits the heel hits the ground first, and then you roll to your toes. Okay. Now, back in the day, like I think there was some techniques where it's kind of like more like a bicycle step, where it's like you're rolling the entire time, where like even when you come off, it's still kind of like rolls like this. Don't do that. Okay. Just basically roll to the toe. Okay, and then that's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, and when you lift the other foot to take the next step, roll to the toe, lift the right foot. Okay, just ride it across the ground a little bit like this. Okay, and then hit the heel. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's simple. It's literally that simple. Okay, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. Okay, I still see a lot of my students kind of like walking, you know, when they're first starting out. Oh my gosh, do not walk flat-footed, okay? It's basically, you gotta hit the ground first, okay? Hit the ground first with your heel, okay? And then you roll to your toes, roll to your toes. Now, this doesn't count for crab walking or going backwards. This basically only covers like forward stepping, which is good. Like, you know, if you're doing like a lot of parades and things like that, then you're gonna get used to, you know, rolling step basically, because you're gonna be going forward the entire time. I think, you know, crab stepping, going left and right, going backwards, that's another video. I wanted to keep it short, but basically just wanted to cover, right, 8 to 5 steps, step sizes, and then feet rolling, okay? That's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, leave that in comments below. What do you think? This is my first video teaching marching technique. So from a marching percussionist standpoint, you know, perspective, and like I said, I've never done this on video before. I've taught this many times, you know, to students, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of it. Shout out again to the ViJos from the Netherlands. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of this video, and thanks so much for watching. Thank you for asking me, Roger, to do this video. It's an honor, and hopefully this is helpful to you, okay? So thanks for watching, everybody. You guys should, I don't know, subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Like I said, if you have questions or comments, leave that in the comments below, and share this with a friend if you feel like this could help somebody else out. Band camp is coming up. I think this would be good for the newcomers and those who are coming into the marching band program for the first time, learning how to march. Show them this video, okay? So cool. Thanks again for watching. Catch you guys on the next one. Watch more of my videos by clicking over here and subscribe over here. Peace. Catch you guys on the next video. Bye.